Okay, so in this session, we are going to see in detail about SketchUp rendering, that is SketchUp model and SketchUp rendering. In particular, we are going to see in detail about the interior views. So these are the six major points I want to highlight for you to make it a very good a SketchUp rendered output. So first one is the perfect model. So perfect model here, what I do mean is when you are doing your basic model or basic structure in the SketchUp, make it as a real building, like how the real building will be executed. You have to make it as such so that the output will be like more perfect. In terms of the render and in terms of the output of the model. So I will explain you regarding this. So what I mean here is, see, for example, if you are going to render for a room of some 10 feet by 10 feet. So obviously first I'm creating a plane and I'm just creating a component. So usually in SketchUp, components will help you to uh, make or edit the model in the future very easily. See, for instance, I have created the slab, that is the floor slab. Now I'm creating the walls right now. So this will be like 10 feet. Again, I'm raising the walls. So this will be in a separate component, and again adding another rectangle, and I'm just giving this slab area. So this will be in a separate component. So make it more components, that is as much as possible you just create components, so that later if you want to edit this particular wall, you can double click this component and edit. If you want to edit this particular slab, you can double click and edit. So in that way, for example, if you see, okay, so this is the render which I did a model and created this one. Share you another one. Okay, so if you consider this particular model, so this was done by me. So if you take, you will be having the floor. So this floor will be in a separate component. This wall will be in a separate component. And regarding the interior, you will be having lot of details to show. So you will be having false ceiling. You will be having a separate wall plane, wall paneling. So so much of detail is there for interior. So what I did is I will be making each and everything in single component. This wall paneling will be in a separate component, and this fall ceiling will be in a separate component. So it will help you to edit anything in particular easily. So that is one thing. And regarding the perfect model, what I mentioned here is, see, if you take this particular floor, I have introduced this, even the skirting in the model. So you have to detail it as if what will be the exact output, or what will be the final output of the building will be. So if you do like that, obviously people will ask, so yeah, whether this is the rendering, or this is like a current site photograph or the completed site photograph of the buildings, something like that. So uh, making the model complete, or making it as more realistic, is very important for a successful or a very good output of rendering. So this is the first point which I want to mention. So you have to detail it to the core. If you have the handles, you have to show the handles. And if you have some groove detail, something like see, for the wardrobes, what I used to do is, when you keenly check the wardrobes, you will be having a minute gap between the rows. So if you usually what people or the layman used to do the SketchUp is like, they used to they don't give these kind of gaps. So obviously what the end result will be like, everything looks very flat, and you don't feel the depth of that particular thing. So these kind of minute details, like providing a small gap and adding some details, will help your model make it look more realistic. So that one point I have to suggest you guys. So after that, next second point is create or choose your furnitures. So most of the times, apart from the bed or the some sofa, whatever it may be, so whatever may be the space you have, so bed will be like a common one. Apart from that, these wardrobes, wall paneling, everything will keep change according to your interior. So my suggestion would be, even if you want to create the bed, you create it as a separate on your own, so that each and everything will combine and give a very good what to say, as a holistic look. So even if you about to choose the material, everything should be in a common theme or a common concept, so that it will reflect a completed look. So in that way, when you are about to choose your furniture, choose wisely, so that or choose according to your theme, so that it will fit to your design. So that is the second point I want to highlight, and even the materials also. So next important thing what we have to understand in SketchUp is, see, basically we are about to take two different types of renders for any interior or exterior, even we can say. So that is, the one is the daytime view, and the second one will be the nighttime, or the one with the artificial lights. So as an architect and as an also as a client, everyone expectations will be like, they want to see the both end of the uh, that is regarding the time, both end of the time. So how our building will be looking in the morning, and how our building will be looking in the evening, so or in the night time. So everyone's intention, or their they crave to see what will be the output of this particular thing. So, as an architect, or the designer of this particular interior or whatever it may be, so we need to create these two extreme end renderings, so that you can present it to the client how it performs in the day and how it performs in the night. So, for this, what I would suggest is, understand the materials and their properties. So, if you take any particular material, say for example, this is a one particular wooden flooring, where you can see the reflection of the light which is coming inside, or the light sunlight of the sunlight which is in the exterior. And also, if you take this particular, so this is like a kind of a matte finish, so you should also know the type of finishes that is existing in the market, and also you want to apply those things into your design. See, for example, if you can apply, okay, so this is a matte finish, and if you take this particular wardrobe, this particular laminate is a glossy finish, glossy is somewhat like a shining material. So the same, this white color, it is available in both matte finish and the glossy finish. So it is you, the designer, and along with the client, you will be deciding which type of finish you want here to apply. So for this, we have to understand the material, what are the properties of that material. So if you take this particular linen or whatever it may be, the bed cover, again it is a kind of a matte finish, and even in the bed cover itself we will be having linen material, velvet material, so somewhat some more kind of texture materials are available. Again, if you take this particular wood, it is a kind of a rustic finish. So you want to in SketchUp or in any rendering, whatever the software you use, ultimately bringing the nature of that particular material in the model is the real success for the designer or the creator who is doing that particular model. So if you generally categorize these materials, it will be categorized into three categories. So one is emissive, second is reflective, and third is refractive. So what is emissive? Emissive is something like, okay, if you take this particular picture, you will be having these spotlights, or the ceiling, in the ceiling you will be having some lights. So these lights will be having that quality of emissive, so it just emits some light. The product itself become a source of light, so it emits lights outside. So this can be taken as a emissive material. Again, for the strip light, so strip light we used to give in the false ceiling, right? So again, this emissive can be applied to this particular material. And second, two major categories is reflective and refractive. Reflective generally refers to any material that is, for example, if you take this particular matte finished wooden flooring, it has some kind of up to some extent this particular material has some reflectance. So only this particular material, when light falls in, it reflects the light back to this particular room, so that we are able to see this particular space. So that reflectance matters here. And refractive is generally applies to the material which has the see-through sense, that is something like glass or whatever it may be, somewhat a transparent, semi-transparent material we can say. If you take this particular lampshade, again this particular linen textured doom is said to be that refractive, because you can see partially the light which is inside. So this kind of materials we call it as a refractive. And reflective is each and every material has certain reflectance, so this will be having very less. If you take this particular SS finish, so SS finish will be having some reflectance, and if you take this particular strips of beading, again this has some reflectance. So each and every material has some reflectance, but the degree only varies. So you have to understand that particular degree and you have to apply. If you take the mirror, it will be having complete reflectance. So whatever that is standing in front or that is in front of that mirror, it just reflects what is there. So depending upon the degree of reflectance, you have to apply that in your model. So this is the third major thing that you want to understand. And fourth one is using the artificial light. Fourth and fifth will be using artificial light and the natural light. So for example, if you take this particular rendering, which is done by me, see, in this you can see the usage of artificial lights in the model. So along with the artificial lights, you can also see the daylight which is entering inside the room. So it is a combination of both. If you want the model to be completely lit with the daylight, then you can apply those settings and you can take out the model. And if you want to apply only the artificial light, you can change the time of that particular model and you can completely render only with the artificial light. So these things to be noted. And the final one is like the output settings of the V-Ray. So after you have completely done and have applied all your materials and textures, whatever it may be, when you are completely done with that, so this V-Ray will be having set of commands and menus called, this particular window we call it as options. That is the output window of this particular V-Ray. So this will be this particular asset editor. We call it as asset editor. In this you will be having particular category called settings. So in the settings you have to apply some basic settings so that you can render your interior or exterior view in the SketchUp. So this will be the final one to know. So this is the general introduction. So in the next one, I will be explaining you about in detail, everything in detail.